Thank you. Here we go. I just want to welcome everyone, either in the chamber or virtual, to the Parks and Community Services Commission regular meeting of January 12th, 2023. I want to welcome everyone to the new year and hope everyone had a nice and healthy holiday season. We do have our chair, Cassius Rutherford, remote, but what I'd like to do is call the meeting to order, and if we can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and if we can have Commissioner Brown lead us. Thank you. At this time, do we have public comments?
We're going to take roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call first. Thanks.
All right. Commissioner Andrade Vallarta? Here. Commissioner Brown?
Present.
Commissioner Glab?
Here.
Vice Chair Dorn Parker?
Here.
Chair Rutherford?
Present. Good to see you all.
Let's see. Chair Rutherford?
Can you hear me?
Looks like you're having technical difficulties with audio. He is virtual on Zoom.
Can you hear me now?
Do you want to try speaking, Chair Rutherford?
Are you able to?
We're good. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now you can hear me. Good to see you.
Everyone is present. We can move forward to the next item.
Thank you, which is now at this time. At this time is for public comments for matters not listed on the agenda. Is anyone in the audience first would like to speak? Thank you. Come on up to the podium.
I would like to remind public commenters that you have 3 minutes to speak under this item.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Good evening. My name is Andy Campbell. I'm a resident of District 1, so nice to meet you, Mr. Glab. I'm also the Fairview Park Steering Committee current chair, and I probably should spend more time here, but work calls sometimes. It's good to see everybody in person again at meetings, and I hope we're back in person soon too. Wanted to just bring your attention, it's probably something you're already aware of, but the city's been doing a fantastic job with the restoration effort over in the Verna Pool area. We have a work event tomorrow, I think you're probably all aware of, so just wanted to ask a few of you to come out and make it a working meeting too. So I tend to be there with my family and do the same. I also wanted to point out that, you know, that area is a habitat that the Fish and Wildlife is interested in, and they want it restored. And one of the last things I think that will be needed to restore that is to remove some of the existing storage that's there. There's a storage shed that I believe belongs to the Harbor Soaring Society. I know that there's under review to, you know, what's going to be the disposition of HSS. I don't believe they're going to stay where they currently are, and I know we're looking at either another site entirely or maybe moving them to the east side of the park. So our commission or our committee is out of sync with yours. We don't meet till February. We're every 2 months. But our next meeting, I intend to try to introduce a motion of support to have the city remove that storage container or have HSS remove the storage container either to someplace out of that watershed within the park, perhaps to the east side, perhaps to the parking lot, or maybe to another home that they would see. You know, leaving it in place, you know, it's somewhat dilapidated. You've got, you know, chipping paint and people can walk in there. You know, it collects natives, tumbleweeds. We don't need herbicides or anything applied in that watershed. You know, I'm not really sure exactly what's in that container. I know there's probably lawnmower equipment, perhaps fuels, batteries, things like that that are not good to have in that watershed. So it sounds like my time is about up, or is that a 1 minute? 1 minute, okay. But anyway, that's what I would intend to do. I've got some support of some members in the committee. We've had lots of public comment on that some members of the public have come and requested that storage container be removed. I support that. And I want to ask your commission, I don't know if this necessarily needs a motion to make it happen, but I would like to see you support that motion like I'm going to ask the steering committee to do. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Reiner Shine, is the work party going to happen on Saturday at 9?
I believe it's moved till Friday because of the rain.
Oh, it's gonna be Friday
It'll be
instead of
9 o'clock
Saturday.
tomorrow, so if you're fortunate enough to be able to play hooky from work or retired and could come out 9 o'clock Friday, I believe the holes are dug, the plants are there, they just need people to put them in the holes and re-put the dirt in the holes, and there's 600 potted plants to take care of native.
Great. Thank you for clarifying, 'cause I hadn't for a
And
second.
where will that be?
Where
that meeting tomorrow?
By the high school, so the one closest to the high school at Fairview Park, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Looks like we have another, thank you, welcome.
Let's turn the mic on.
Yeah. The mic, oh, wait. Okay,
We're good?
thank
All
you.
right, there you go. Hi, good evening. My name is Matt Garcia. I'm the current president of the Harbor Shoreline Society. I'm also alternate on the Fairview Park Steering Committee. Just wasn't planning on speaking, but thought I'd add a little bit of information to Andy's comments. There is no fuel in the container. Harbor Shoreline Society, which has flown at Fairview Park since 1964, has always been all electric model aircraft. So there previously, when we had a use agreement with the city, and we're working to get another one in place, there was a lawnmower stored in there. The lawnmower is still there. There's no fuel in it, and there's no fuel in the storage container. We worked with the city to ensure there's no chemicals that could spill. There's no chemicals stored in the facility or in the storage container that is there. And we don't use any herbicides or anything to maintain that area. That's all maintained by the city. The fenced off area that is around there, it's all maintained by the city. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the chamber? If not, I will ask, is there anybody remote that would like to speak?
If there are any members of the public who wish to speak, please raise your hand. I have CKD. CKD, you may now speak.
Thank you. I'm hoping to just clarify, I also am a member of the Fairview Park Steering Committee. The container that we're speaking about this evening is a storage container that was placed within the watershed restoration area that we are currently undergoing in watersheds, vernal pools 5, 6, and 7. The issue is not necessarily what's in the container, but it is the container itself. We have been working very hard since 2004 to be able to restore this area to its natural state of vernal pool watersheds, and have come quite a ways, and the city has spent a lot of money on it. The container, and I'm sorry we don't have a map for you this evening, but the container that is still sitting is one of the ship containers within the watershed, and the ship container, if it were removed, would allow us to entirely restore the watershed area for vernal pools 5, 6, and 7. As it stands right now, we're working around that container, and in the best effort for us to restore that area, the container should be removed because it has no function at the moment. The contract with HSS and the city is no longer existent, and therefore the container has no purpose and no legal contract to be there. So our efforts as a steering committee would just like to be to remove that container so that we can restore the area in its entirety. Thank you. And we were just asking for your support in doing that.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
If there are any other members, please raise your hand. Vice Chair, there are no other members who wish to speak under public comment.
Thank you. So at this time, we will close public comments for matters not listed on the agenda, and then we'll move to commissioner comments. I'll start on to my left with Commissioner Andrade Vallarta. I didn't mean to, oh, here, I need to give you the mic.
All good. Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Well, happy 23 to everyone. It's so great to be back. I think would love to learn more about what are the challenges of removing this storage piece to continue the great work that the team has been doing to restore. I don't know if it's a resource issue or just logistics. I'm trying to pinpoint the storage container, but I can't put it in my mind from the walks that I've had there. But that would be great to learn to really know, how can we really, as our the community has spoken that continue the restoration work that's so important there. And then I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the director's report, but I'm really so elated to see the new naming of Wilson Park that has been finally installed. I can't express the joy I felt when I drove by there as I just got back from a getaway. So it was really so exciting to see it formally named and branded, and the crosswalk as well, which allows it to be much more safe and secure for our children. Most of the kids in the west side from that Avocado Street stretch are trying to get to a safe place or trying to get to their local schools. So having a safe crosswalk is fantastic, cutting through Wilson. So thank you so much for the work done at the park.
Thank you. So we'll move to Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment to thank Mr. Campbell and Mr. Garcia for coming and talking about Fairview Park. Just as a reminder, I'm the liaison on the committee, and I'm sorry to have missed. I was sick during December's meeting, so I missed that one. I would welcome you all to come as frequently as you can to this commission meeting. I think it's actually really important for us to stay connected to Fairview Park in a variety of ways. And would just put out there that I don't know if other commission members are interested, but it might be nice to have a more formal tour or introduction to what is going on at Fairview. I would certainly welcome that, and either alongside a restoration or something separately. So I think considering all the resources that go into Fairview Park and the interest in it might be something to consider. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was Snoopy House, which I know we'll hear about later. It feels like a million years ago now, back in December, but I took my daughter to one night at Snoopy House and was really enchanted by the participation of local schools in singing. They have a stage at Snoopy House, and so they have performances by local schools. One thing, so we enjoyed it, but one thing that I've been thinking about as a parent / commission member is I have a daughter who's 11 going on, 16 or something like that. And so I'm trying to figure out how to, what kind of activities does the city / county / others provide that is still of interest to kids my daughter's age? Because I think they're going through that interesting time where they're changing their interests. And I'm wondering, does that mean that they no longer participate in these types of activities, whether it's the Halloween activity or at Snoopy House? So I just wanted to pose that as perhaps something. I'd be curious to know if city staff think about that, or if the activities that we do are really targeted to, the 10 and under age group. And so I guess as I was there and thinking about the kinds of activities that we were offering, which were great for younger kids, just reflecting for a moment that at a certain age, I think kids become, uninterested in that. So I was wondering what a teen night at Snoopy House would look at that's like tongue-in-cheek and ironic. And, is there a way to still get that different age group out? I'm a new parent. In that way, I haven't gone through the teenage years, and maybe you just opt out. But I am thinking about how do city services provide at those events? I don't know what a teen would want to do at Snoopy House, but it might be worth thinking about. So that is it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Glab.
Yeah, just a couple questions about the storage container. How long has it been there? How many years?
As it was just an item under public comment, we're not allowed to engage in discussion on items that were brought up in public comment.
Then I have no
Staff
comment.
can follow up with a response later on in the agenda, but yeah, not tonight.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Commissioner Glab. I just had a couple of short things. Thinking about the sidewalk, I wanted to thank the city And the parks, we have a new sidewalk infill at Woodland and a very dangerous corner nearby. Children were going all over, so I see that it's up and it's going to have the flashing lights. That I know there's been some issues. So I want to thank the city. It's over by Woodland, and it's actually a safe way to get across the street and over to a block away to Jordan. And also just want to let everybody know Jordan Park is so being used by the entire community, and I see lots of bikes with kid seats, and also there's a group in my community that are using sort of Amsterdam type buckets for their kids, and they're putting their dogs on leashes there. So I just want to think about that. And I just want to thank and acknowledge Director Mentor for his work on communicating with the Brentwood Park families that have been very organized. And I know there's a lot going on with him and the whole staff, and everyone's really excited, but I need to acknowledge Director Mentor and the whole staff on their work with that. And at this point, I would love to turn it over to the chair for his commissioner comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Dorn Parker. Can everybody hear me okay now?
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry about that earlier. Yes, I am traveling for work right now, so appreciate the opportunity to zoom in. And I think we're all looking forward to keeping this as a part of our meetings so the public can have maximum accessibility to what we're doing. I want to echo the thanks to Jason, Monique, who worked incredibly hard on the showing of Snoopy House in December. We know it's always a special part of the holiday season in Costa Mesa. And last December was really an exceptional showing of Snoopy House. So I know many people were grateful for that opportunity and the return of Snoopy House after a hiatus. So I wanted to echo that thanks and appreciation for the work that's been done on that front. Also want to thank the Fairview Park Committee Chair, Mr. Campbell, and Ms. DeGosta for your comments. And Mr. Garcia from the HSS for coming tonight. I think it's evident by both your presence tonight. You are all key stakeholders and your input is valued by us. I have followed up in the past about the delay of the resolution of the fly field ordinance and how that's moving forward. I did think City Council provided fairly clear direction. So I have been inquiring about the delay with that and when the public can expect clear guidance. I also want to follow up on the sample project schedule that Vice Chair Dorn Parker emailed to Director Mentor. In our last PAX meeting on the director's report, I took the time, to go through and ask about each and every project and initiative. And it wasn't comprehensive. I know there's things that I'm not aware of that are happening, but it was time consuming for all of us. But I think this is a key measure of transparency, especially last year with the increase in funding opportunities and the number of projects that the department undertook. I think it's a key measure of transparency and accountability to the public that we are kept up to date. Even when there's not a specific action, for us to take or something to report, for us to be kept up to date on the status of, all of the key initiatives and funding opportunities and projects that the department is undergoing. And I think that will reflect well on the staff too, to further reflect the amount of work and dedication that's going into these initiatives, because we know there's a lot. For example, just a couple things that I'm going to follow up on now and later are the staff reports for the group permit policy. We approved a direction from our last meeting, so I'm looking forward to that returning. Additionally, the commission requested a review of indoor facility rental rates with an opportunity to make recommendations to the council. So I am requesting that return to us at our next meeting. And with that, I'll close my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Rutherford. At this time, we'll move into old business. We have before us minutes. I will ask for a motion to adopt the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
And do we have a second? We have to do everything orally now, not within, because of, we have a remote member.
I second that.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second, and then is this where we all need to put our votes?
Laura will call out your names.
Thank you. I just wanted to verify.
And then just right prior, we do need to do public comment real quick.
Okay,
If there are any members who wish to speak regarding the minutes, please come forward or raise your hand on Zoom. All right, so we can now do a roll call
okay,
vote.
thank you. At this time, can we have the vote?
Commissioner Andrade Vallarta? Yes. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Glab?
Yes.
Vice Chair Dorn Parker?
Yes?
Chair Rutherford?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0 to approve the minutes of December's meeting.
Wow.
Thank you. December 8th, 2022.
At this time, we have no new business, and under monthly reports, we do have the park ranger report. Does anybody have?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Park Ranger report for December 2022 is before you. I'm happy to report that we did have a meeting with the lieutenant over the Park Ranger program to talk about the status of it. They're still having some staffing challenges. They are bringing new rangers on board that are currently going through training, so you should start to see an uptick in patrols out there. In addition, there's some other personnel issues that they were working through. So, it is on the positive in terms of getting more patrols out there. If anyone has any questions about the report, I will do my best to answer them or defer to a future meeting.
Do any commissioners have any questions or comments? Do we also ask for public comments on reports? I forget. Yes, so if there are any public comments.
Andy again. So one thing I noticed, and I passed this on to Mr. Dalton, Fairview Park Administrator. I noticed there's an entrance of Fairview Park where there's a curve and there's a gap in the logs that make a barrier to the normal motor vehicles that use the park. But it looks like that gap is large enough for the rangers to drive through, and I understand that need to do rapid response to incidences at the park. But I've noticed in this wet weather that's getting potholed out with tires, and I'd like to at least have the city, this commission, maybe explore a means for rangers to enter the park without having to drive across the grass and run it out, especially in the wet weather. I do understand the need that they do get in there quickly in case there's a need to apprehend somebody or stop an activity. Just wanted to point that out in the context of this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Anybody else in the chambers have any comments? What about remote?
I do have one hand raised.
Okay.
You may now speak.
Laura, is that mine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What I would like to speak to is on this report, I fully understand our collaborative efforts with Orange County, but Talbot Park is not the city's response. It's within the city's district, but it is not the city's responsibility totally for monitoring. And so we have a report tonight that shows the number of citations within Talbot Park. But many of us on the Fairview Park Steering Committee and others have been asking for more enforcement at the Fairview Park aspect, which is up on the Mesa and not down in Talbot Park. And we continue to see more efforts being placed in Talbot Park than up in Fairview Park. And so I would like to just raise the question of the resources spent on Talbot Park versus Fairview Park with regards to our rangers. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments from virtual?
Vice Chair, I see no hands raised.
Thank you. And at this time, then we'll move to the director's report. Director Minton?
Thank you, Chair, or Vice Chair, I should say. We're going to change things up a little bit, but you may have noticed our Recreation Manager, Monique, is not here, so we have a special guest. We have one of our Recreation Supervisors, Ashley Thomas, and she's going to do a quick update on some of the programs before I take it back over to do more of the capital and some other exciting updates.
Thank you.
Ashley?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Ashley Thomas, Recreation Supervisor. Tonight I have the opportunity to highlight a couple programs. So tonight I'm going to start with the Adult Sports Program. Our adult softball league. Our adult softball league is operated by Major League Softball. Their fall season just wrapped up. The season runs from September 12th to December 18th. They had 90 teams and let's see, right over 900 participants enrolled. So we have a lot of softball taking place out in our Tewinkle Sports Complex. So I know they've come a long way in the last few years in regaining participation. So it's great to see the season so successful. The next program I'd like to highlight is our camp program, our Camp Costa Mesa. Our winter session just concluded. It was over both Christmas and the New Year's break. Excited to say we had full enrollment with a wait list for both weeks. Excursions included everything from Fairview, not Fairview, Fountain Valley. Fountain Valley Skate, Sky Zone, Nickel, and Concourse Bowling. The kids had a great time. No major incidents to report, so we're excited for that always. Our next camp is President's Camp, which operates February 21st through the 24th. So those are my couple highlights for the evening, and I will now turn over to Director Mentor.
Maybe touch on teen programs as those previously requested for that middle school tween type age group.
Tweener age, that lovely tweener age.
Yes. So we do offer a couple teen centers with our teen program. We are doing really well at Tewinkle Middle School this year. We have over 80 kids registered at this point. It is a drop in and out program, so we're excited to see the high attendance. In addition, we also have the DRC, or the Downtown Recreation Center, Teen Center. We average about 18 students there, and we do offer some transportation from Ensign to come over. In addition to that, we do work with Soy, which is another teen center that we partner with, and we assist with some transportation for them. So there's a handful of teen-related programming that we do offer, but yes, it is a challenging demographic. We're always looking for creative ways to improve our teen programs and to gain participation. Thank you for your input for Snoopy House. We agree. We're always looking for opportunities to include our teens too. All ages, right? Snoopy House, special place for everybody. We do have some art opportunities for teens, whether it's like our youth art gallery. We've worked with middle schools, high schools to show art. We do intergenerational programming with the senior center. So we're always trying to be creative. I know one was like a technology talk, right? Where teens came over and taught the seniors how to utilize their technology. So we too are always trying to be creative with our teens and trying to engage them as best as possible. So yes, we'll look forward to coming up with some more ideas for Snoopy House.
I think we had the teens versus seniors, like a trivia contest too one day at the senior center. That was so much fun to watch. So thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I think when it comes to that age, you said your daughter is 11 going on 16. If she's going on 16, she should get a job application in soon. So make sure she doesn't forget about that. A few things I would like to highlight in no particular order. It was previously mentioned the restoration event, the planning event. This is part of what's normally the second Saturday restoration, which would be Saturday, but due to the forecasted rain, it's been shifted to tomorrow, Friday. It was mentioned earlier at 9 o'clock. Vernal pools 5, 6, and 7 are over kind of where the football stadium is in Parsons Field. So if you park in the main parking lot, you should be able to walk, due over to your left and see a group getting ready to plant. If anybody has any other questions about that, have them shoot us emails and we'll try to follow up with them. But it is first thing tomorrow morning, and then hopefully Mother Nature will help wet them and water them, all weekend. We did just take a tour of Fairview Park yesterday, and it's great to see, the rain, and we're starting to see the ponding and the vernal pools. So it was really cool to be out there and see it when it's wet, as opposed to, since I've got here, it's been pretty dry, in my position as director. So it's cool to see with actually ponding water out there. Commission appointments are on the agenda for the city council meeting on Tuesday. I guess she's too shy to admit it, but we do have a commissioner that is serving her last meeting as a part of this term. So thank you, Commissioner Andrade, for your efforts here on the committee or on the commission. It's always great to have volunteers from the community that are, putting themselves forward and sacrificing time from their families to help, give us some direction and work with the community to make Costa Mesa a better place with regards to parks and recreation. I believe, well, you can tell by some of the vacant chairs, we do have 3 spots to fill, 3 new spots to fill, I should say. So if you're interested in that, it's the second to last item on the agenda. So I do apologize, you may be up a little bit late, but hopefully the rest of the council agenda goes smoothly. Another thing on the agenda, the Fairview Park Master Plan update is another exciting piece. I can't get into too much detail, but I would encourage all the commissioners, and we will try to send a link out to the agenda tomorrow, but to review the packet, because the city had gone through a pretty extensive RFP review process. There were 3 vendors that had submitted proposals. We did the screenings, the interviews, some negotiation. And it's after a few months of work, we're very excited to be bringing forward the recommendation that the City Council approve a professional services agreement for the completion of the master plan update. It's about an 18-month process. I'll go through a couple of the highlights that I can share. Some of the components include kind of a historical summary or review of all the existing documentation, a portion that is specific to community outreach. One item will be a meeting where the consultant is here before PAC's Commission for your engagement as well as community engagement. They will be doing a resource assessment, analysis of the existing conditions, updating their findings and recommendations, and then completing all of the environmental compliance documentation. One of the very exciting features of this, which hadn't been done in the past, is the consultant team will be creating a tribal advisory committee due to the archaeological and to engage the tribal folks, the tribal leaders from the area in the master plan process, kind of in their own opportunity to provide an input. So that's going to be exciting. But a very detailed proposal. It's not cheap to do something like this, but it hasn't been updated, for like in a serious manner in 25 years since it was published. So we're very excited about having that master plan update. Let's see, a few things. Brentwood Park was mentioned. We did have a great staff meeting today where we kind of all got on the same page in terms of what projects we're looking to bring forward. So the next step in that process is re-engaging with our small community group to set up the meetings to engage the community. Our goal would be to have it come back to the commission for review. February doesn't seem like we'll have enough time, but hopefully in March. And prior to that meeting, we would have some meetings with the public, or at least a meeting out in the public at Brentwood Park to hear what the community had to say. I mentioned the Fairview Park Master Plan update, Jack Hammett Sports Complex. Unfortunately, during construction, there was some damage done to conduit that deemed some of the light poles inoperable. I'm happy to report that today they were actually out there with shovels in the ground working on getting the electrical upgrades done to get lights back on Field 1, which I know will make Ashley's job a little bit easier, and a lot of our user groups much more happy. So we're excited to have that project underway. The Snoopy House, thank you for those that were able to attend, even for those that wanted to attend that couldn't. It is such a collaborative effort. I do want to thank Monique. She leads the Parks Department's efforts for that, but she'd be the first to tell you she doesn't do it alone. So thank you so much to Monique, to Tiana, we have a handful of staff that we're out there decorating and hanging lights and things like that. But it's not just our department. The city manager's office has staff that contribute a great deal to it, from ordering and scheduling and organizing. So to Francine and Alma and Hadassah and Evis, I'm probably leaving names out, but all of their efforts. But it's not even just city manager staff. It's really our Public Works Department is instrumental in bringing over all the equipment and helping coordinate all the installation of lighting, and it's a monumental task that they do for us, keeping all of that equipment looking good. We had a lot of fresh paint. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I know it's hard at night with all the twinkling lights, but a lot of new paint, some new features. I asked them to put new roofs on things, and it was they were really doing a very good job of trying to freshen up some of the Snoopy House stuff. It was my first year at Snoopy House with the musical entertainment, the singers and the musical instruments, so that was really great to see for the first time. I think it really added an exciting element, and it brought families out that may not have ordinarily come. We do want to make sure that any interested schools or nonprofit organizations, or whatever, that want to participate in Snoopy House next year, make sure they contact us. So if your kids or your grandkids or neighbors, if they're interested in performing at Snoopy House, there is room for more. The weeknights are typically only 3 hours, but we'll try to get as many groups as we reasonably can. We're already talking about logistics and how to make sure that the performance space is more appropriate for the youth in our community. But it was such a neat element to have that this year. Let's see, what else? I would like to, it was brought up about Wilson Park, the Wilson Park sign. Well, I hate to call him out because he's kind of a shy guy, but Sung in the back was responsible for getting that monument sign done. So a little round of applause for Sung for making that happen. He's also working on the electrical light upgrades at Jack Hammett. So he's got his hand in a lot of different projects, but just thought I'd give him a little shout out because of the monument sign. He was able to get that done. I feel like there's things that I'm leaving out, but if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Do any commissioners have any questions for Director Minton? I just want to acknowledge that the director and I have had conversations. It's a wealth of focus by us and many of our elected officials on how important parks are and recreation and resources. And I just want to acknowledge for Director Mentor and his staff, it's going to be a lot of work to meet it's a wonderful, wonderful challenge that so many cities don't have the opportunity. And it brings Costa Mesa up to what many other cities have consistently just kind of slowly invested. And we know we have a lot of coals in the fire. And I really appreciate the director's time with me and trying to figure out how do we keep everybody informed, how we make sure, because some of the grants need work before they can actually turn into grants and investments. And some are ideas floating around, some information, misinformation. So I just really want to acknowledge that it's going to be an exciting but challenging 12 to 36 months as we coalesce all of these ideas and resources and put them to work. So just want to thank you because I recognize that. And also the staff, it's huge. It's sort of like, be careful what you wish for. We love this, but it would have been nice had it been coming in, coasting in for 5-10 years, but we'll take it. But we know it's going to be a huge burden, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Just on that note, yes, there will be a significant number of capital project related items of business that come before the commission, so the commission can engage and also for the community to engage. This is, a commission that's designed to reach out to the public and to engage with the public and give the public a nice, safe, comfortable environment for them to come in and voice their concerns. So a lot of those projects, kind of one at a time, maybe a couple in certain meetings, they will be coming before this body when we get to the point where, the city manager, city council are, comfortable with it, or the applications for the grants are at the point where we can bring them forward. But, as I mentioned to our chairperson on the phone today, I am super excited about bringing information to you when we have it. And, it's a little premature to give some of that information today because it has a process to go through, but it will be on my brag list for sure, moving forward as we get plans done or we get RFPs done or we're, awarding contracts or bids. It's a lot's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years for sure. There was one thing, it was on the tip of my tongue. Hold on, let me turn the mic off and I'll think of it. Well, go ahead and ask questions. I know I'll think of it. It was very important.
And since I'm not sure if Chair Rutherford would like to also ask questions and comments, I'd like to ask
Thank
him.
you. You can go ahead, Vice Chair Dorn Parker. I'll follow you.
Oh, no, I already asked my questions and comments, so I'm good.
Oh, sorry. We'll definitely want to echo what Vice Chair Dorn Parker said. I am very excited for 2023. I think there could not be a more capable team in the PACS department with Jason, Monique, Ashley, Laura, our city engineer in the back. Of course, I can't see you there, but I know you're there. So I'm very excited about the year, but I do want to just emphasize that, you know, the sample schedule that Vice Chair Dorn Parker sent over, I appreciate that we get detailed, you know, bullet items of what's going on. But, you know, part of the reason I'm out of town right now, you know, I do communications for a living. We're having an annual strategy meeting with one of our clients, basically setting, you know, the priorities, the items, the timeline for what we're going to accomplish and the items we're going to work on this year. And so I'm really asking for that same standard of project management to be applied here. I understand, you know, things move, things get delayed, you know, it's part of the job. But I do think we need to have clearer timelines. And part of that is putting it on the agenda, even if there is no update, the update is that there's no update, just so the public can be aware of all the items that are on the docket. You know, including key members of the public that are participating tonight, you know, such as Mr. Campbell, Mr. Garcia, Ms. DaGosta. You know, these are people that can offer valuable input on what we're doing. And so we want to avail this information to them for sure. So I am going to specifically ask you, Director Mentor, if you've had an opportunity to review the sample schedule that Vice Chair Dorn Parker sent over, and your thoughts on how we can incorporate that into the director's report moving forward.
The sample that was either created or sent by our vice chair was, you know, a great tool. Whether or not that exact format will be brought before the commission there was a lot of information on there that we'd have to decide how much of that is even available to share. So I, you know, have heard and understood and appreciate your request for additional information that can be shared with the public. And I will, you know, do my best effort to tweak the way the update is so that you feel like you get the information that you need to be able to share with the public.
Thank you, Director Mentor. I appreciate your attention to this. I know it'll be an evolving process, sort of a living, breathing process, but we need this. I think the public needs this, and I do really appreciate your commitment to that. I also just wanted to specifically ask, I do want to echo the excitement over the Fairview Park master plan process that is scheduled to begin this year. But I also want to express concern that it's been 4 months since the open space master plan was brought before the commission. I think we sound like a broken record at this point asking about that, and I don't see it listed on the director's report. So this is one of those things, you know, this is a significant undertaking where $250,000 of city funds have been spent on an outside contractor to work on this plan. So the commission and the public does need an update about what's going on with this. Do you have an update, Jason, or could you maybe talk through what the status is?
There is no update on the open space master plan.
So if there's no update, what's the timeline to get this back? You know, what's the internal timeline for city departments working together on this? Because if there's, I guess we're curious about that.
When you say timeline, is there a deadline for submission? No. The open space master plan update was started about a year ago. When the draft report was shared with staff prior to the October meeting, we found just substantial gaps in information that required a great deal of review. And it's hard to explain all of that without getting too much into the draft, but it's something that myself, members of our public works team are, you know, working with our analysts, our finance department to try to make sure that accurate information is shared with the public, as it is a critical document that the commission needs accurate information. It cannot be, the significant gaps that are in there, not by any fault of the consultant or the fault of staff, but just due to the extended layoff between when it was last touched and when staff kind of resuscitated it at the beginning of 2022. So for those of you that have worked on master plans, they are not simple documents. We're talking about a 150-page draft report with probably over 300 pages of attachments. So, it's not a single document. It's not a couple of pieces of paper. This is a substantial document that will hopefully be reviewed by the commission, by the community, with some feedback. That way we can present something in a study session to the city council for their review, for additional public comment. And, we just can't afford to get this wrong, because this document will be something that helps shape our parks over the course of the next 5, 10, and even 20 years. So I appreciate your eagerness. It is something that does take quite a bit of time to get through. And, I promise as soon as it is ready, it will come before the commission. And I know the consultant is eager to do that. I've had multiple conversations with them about, the steps that we need to take. We're gathering additional pictures of things that have been updated since it was last printed. I mean, it's a whole host of things that the goal is to have it before the commission in the next 2 months.
I appreciate that, Jason. And I think that's what we were looking for, is a timeline. So we can all, we want to be aligned with you on expectations on this. So that's what this is about, is just all of us aligning our expectations. And so I think it would be awesome if we can get this back within 2 months to the commission to review. Not necessarily because our review is what's important, it's the public review that's important. I think that's going to be a key part of getting this right, is putting this out there for people to weigh in on and you to get that valuable feedback. So I know the delay has been tough, but I appreciate that this is going to be back soon. At our last meeting, Director Minter, we approved a direction on the group permit policy. Or we had a discussion about it that I think provided enough direction for you. Do you have an update when we can expect that staff report back from you to the commission?
Yes, as you and I spoke on the phone, and I explained to you that one of the challenges between the December meeting and the January meeting was a short turnaround time. So we do have staff working on it, in addition to the sections of the municipal code that we discussed. There's 13 or 14 other sections that are all included in that municipal code area. And we're taking the time to go through and make sure the changes are made to those, to update things like language with regards to staffing and positions and who's responsible for what. So it's minor corrections, but we do want to make sure, the municipal code doesn't get updated very often. We want to make sure that while we're touching this section, we include not only the sections that you guys reviewed, but other sections within that portion of the municipal code that are pretty benign in terms of the changes, but we would like to make sure it's consistent for future reference. I do hope to have that on the agenda for the February meeting.
Awesome. So we'll look forward to that at our next commission meeting. And I appreciate that your team is taking a holistic look at that. Just going back to the earlier comment about a schedule and a table of, things to align, the public and the staff and the department and the commission. This is one of those things, that we probably want to see on the director's report, a key undertaking by your office and your team that really belongs on the report. Even though the update is, it's a good update that it's coming back at the February meeting. That's a simple thing that we could put on this report to keep the public updated. In that vein, I'm also going to ask about if we could expect a similar timeline for review of the indoor facility rental rates as the commission agreed to do at our last meeting.
Yes, I heard the commission's request to do it. However, given the substantial amount of workload that's before us, it is something that we will bring forward on a future agenda. I just cannot commit to a date at this point, but it is acknowledged and noted, and we will start working on it as soon as we can.
If I can piggyback on our chair, The one question that comes to me right now, just for the city staff, and I know they do know this, is one of the challenges is we have a lot of our own residents or our local community groups that are really interested in understanding what the rental fees would be or waiving of those or minimal fees, because that's something historically they've enjoyed that now it's tough. So just a little bit more input. And I know, Director, that I've been basically asking when a community group calls me that they're concerned about a fee, I've been just forwarding it on to staff so that they understand the impact and what's happening. So thank you, because I know that it's, everyone's sort of at the gate anxious to see how they can plan their meetings now that people are coming back in person to see what rooms are available, especially our, like youth groups or our different social clubs and things that we really do want to support, and they do really great work in our community. So yeah, so thank you.
Well, one of the important things to note, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this at the last meeting, when we lost the neighborhood community center, we lost a dozen rooms that were used by the community, and that will, significantly impact these wonderful nonprofit organizations that utilize those rooms and the rooms that we used for classes and other things. So, when you take, if you count all of the facilities that we have, which are limited currently, more than 50% of the available rooms away, in one center, it's going to be hard to adjust to that when the community had that expectation, and when it went away, that was taken away during the demolition, and then COVID kind of prolonged that period. So, there's definitely growing pains when people want to get back into facilities. Now, the waiver policy is still the same. I, as the director, do have the ability to waive fees. We do have nonprofit rental rates. When we have organizations requesting to use it for fundraisers or philanthropic efforts, I will always, take those with serious consideration for, fee waivers as opposed to private or commercial type uses. So, the Herzog has one big room and one small room. We have the Adams room at the library. We have a multi-purpose room at the Downtown Rec Center. We have the Balearic Community Center. But, when you take away 12 spaces that were pretty flexible, we're going to be hurting on that for a while. But I do appreciate the interest in trying to make sure we look at the fee schedule. I am not against doing it, but at this point, I have to triage the responsibilities and priorities. And as you can tell, our staff, despite being, low in terms of our part-time group, we're still, looking for part-time staff. We're going to be trying to launch a marketing campaign for our part-time leaders. I thought of it. I thought of the thing.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Right now, I've been asked to prepare a presentation for the study session of City Council on the 24th, which is only a couple of weeks away, to talk about all things related to our department, our successes, our challenges, and some of our needs moving forward. So I will make sure that we send out more information to you once that agenda gets closer to being set. I have a lot of work to do on it. So I don't know if the theme here is I have a lot of work to do. Whether it's open space master plans or capital project updates or municipal code sections coming back. Yes, all of those things are things that I am trying to concurrently work on. And, I do apologize if it seems like some of these things are taking longer than necessary, but we do want them to come back correct. We want them to be right. We want to take a holistic approach to updating things like the municipal code. And we just want to be able to put the best information forward for the commission, for the council, and ultimately for the public, as you've mentioned, transparency and clarity and information.
Thank you. Chair Rutherford?
Thank you. Those were excellent comments. And looking forward to have that returned to us at a future date. Just my last, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Back to you, Vice Chair.
Okay, thank you. Anything else right now? Yes.
Yeah, so thanks so much for the report. I'm really excited about the art crawl experience. It looks really fun. I've gotten to go to the one in Santa Ana, but this seems like a nice intro to what we can do here. So I wanted to check in with the staff team, and I know that this is way ahead. You mentioned the great attendance and at the camps over the holiday and the upcoming President's one. And so I wanted to, just thinking ahead we're already in February. I feel like a summertime will be just around the corner here soon. And one of the feedback pieces that we've had after last summer was exploring the possibility of maybe providing the city camp in partnership with the district so that the kids are indoors during the very hot summer months. That camp is available. So I don't know if there has been more conversations around that possibility so that the kids aren't outside the whole day for a full 8 hours. I mean, I know we used to be Goat Hill town, but little kids, hovering under the sun, under a tree for a little shade is still a very jarring experience. So yeah, just wanted to see if there's any kind of opportunities or discussions around that.
Absolutely. We're always looking for opportunities to keep them cool during the summertime. We do have some exciting news about the Blair Community Center. There should be more opportunity to have cool air in the Blair Community Center. We're having a HVAC, I don't know if it's somewhat public, I hope, HVAC system put into the Blair Community Center. So there'll be some opportunity for them to get out of the sun and into some AC. We do work with the school district as well for different programming needs. It's always challenging during summer. There's constantly renovations, projects. We sometimes have our time finding a location for Smart Camp, and it's a smaller camp, right? In addition, they do a lot of their own camps and utilize their own classrooms. So it's sparing and challenging to even get rooms for the current programs on their campuses. However, we could definitely look into all options. They don't always stay, as you know, they don't always stay on site either. They're out at excursions. So we take them to a variety of different locations. So yes, always, especially hot days that we really try to look at the forecast, and especially hot days, we tend to always have a plan for the kids, so they're not outdoors.
Which is great, fantastic, because yeah, the experience we had at last summer at Balearic, I mean, right, it was always overheating concerns, and also the bathroom situation. It is a public park bathroom, and not the most, as you can imagine, so many kids using the same bathroom, a public park bathroom at that, gets really fun. And then secondly, as you mentioned, all the great activities, that is fantastic, and I wanted to do a shout out to Director Minter, who joined College Park for its first STEAM night. Gosh, I think that was November already. And there was a great nonprofit who provided some great hands-on science focus, exposure experience to the students. So it provided fun and learning, which would be also great to have that incorporated in the camps, because sure, skating is fun, the bouncy houses are fun, but it'd also be great to kind of keep that momentum of the learning so that they don't have such a huge transition and awakening when they go back into school. So I would love to see that upgrade done for the planning for next summer would be fantastic. So again, I really appreciate your support, and again, for meeting another nonprofit that is available and open to partner with the city with that service.
Yeah, please forward that information to us. We would love to see. We are also doing a lot more on-site guest speakers or entertainment, and a lot of them tend to be education, fun, right? Like whether it's science or bubbles, but there's some educational component to it. So please, yes, if anyone has, even from the public listening in, if you have any good nonprofits that you can recommend to us, we're always looking for opportunities to
Yes, and
have a good variety.
As I'm listening to you, I see Mr. Gamble in the pipe, just a fun tour in learning about all the great history and nature at Fairview Park. Like, that would be such a fun, science-oriented and great learning experience, especially learning about the native history in this beautiful park that we have an opportunity to protect. So
Yes.
Again, thank you so
Historical
much.
Society's actually opened up the Adobe for us once before and given us the kids a tour since we're right there. So that was a fun experience as well. But yes,
that's
we'll be looking for
fantastic.
those opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, and then as Director Minter did mention, again, I'm really excited about my time here with the commission. It has been such an honor to collaborate with Commissioner Glove, Dora Parker, Brown, Murphy for the time that she was here, Chair Rutherford as well, and even Charlene Ashendorf. So it has been such a great learning experience, and the staff, Jason, Director Minter, your team is absolutely fantastic. I definitely do understand the great undertaking that you're doing here, and I'd love to see how little by little we're progressing. I will surely stay connected. I mean, I have a 6-year-old here in the community. We're very active, so we'll definitely be highly involved with the parks going forward. As always, we definitely participate in all the great services that you all provide the community, which are so, so essential. So again, thank you so much for your hard work in making it possible. But yeah, look forward to continuing partnering with this team in the future. Thanks.
Thank you. And I just want to, on behalf of myself, it has been a pleasure to meet you and get to know you and understand how invested you are in the community. I'm sorry you won't be here any longer. You've added so much to the discussion, and you've represented your community so brilliantly. So thank you. And I'm glad that you'll stay connected. That's really important.
You'll just see me on the other side of the wall now.
We'll have to make sure Chair Rutherford puts a podium mic on when you go up. Make sure you get speaking.
If I definitely want to echo what Vice Chair Dorn Parker said. Commissioner Angeli Andrade Villarta, I think you have been a brilliant advocate for West Side neighborhoods. Your voice is a welcome presence in our community, and your advocacy is so needed. So we appreciate your service on the commission. It has truly been a privilege to work with you and collaborate and learn from you. And I look forward to doing more of that in the future. So thank you again for your service. I remembered my question, by the way, really
okay.
quick.
Ask away.
Sorry. So just thank you again for Director Minter. He's spent some time on the phone with me, so I just wanted to report on that. I was following up and asking a number of questions about the state funding opportunities that were announced last year through the Office of Senator Dave Min and Assemblywoman Cotty Petrie Norris, who are wonderful partners and champions for Costa Mesa. So Director Minter, could you give just an update on the status of those and what the next step is for your team in relation to those funding opportunities, kind of where it's at?
Yes, their state still has requirements, despite some of the commitments that were made. We still had a resolution that was approved by City Council back in December, authorizing us to move forward with the application process. Each project that we want to submit for funding consideration has to go through a separate application process. Those applications are currently being worked on, a lot of it through the Public Works Department. So Raja Sethraman and his team do the lion's share of the work in terms of the grant submittals. But it is, a kind of an exhaustive process that we have to get documentation and make sure we own the property and show all the, so each application has a significant amount of work. Especially when you're considering the volume of projects. But that's the stage that we're right now. We are looking to get those applications to a point where we can bring them before the commission and then for City Council and possibly planning for their review. So I don't have a timeline on Mr. Sethraman. We are at the point where we're starting our city budget process. That includes a capital improvement program review. As you recall, last year, Raja and his team did come before the commission to talk about capital projects. So that is something that's going to be on a future agenda, most likely in April, where the commission will have a chance to talk about capital projects. So a lot of exciting things are going to come up in the next 3 to 4 months. And each of those project applications is going to be a part of it.
Anything else?
Sounds great.
Chair Rutherford?
All done. Thank you for bearing with all my comments. Good stuff in the pipeline, and I appreciate your follow-up, Jason.
Thank you. Anything else? Any more comments? If not, I'll take a motion for adjournment. I need it verbal.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Yes, yes.
We have a second, and so we are adjourned. Thank you all.